for some reason, in the last like maybe 30 years, the gap has been getting bigger and bigger. People are deviating, like taking care of the neighbors. People used to do this a lot, but slowly everything now is kind of disappearing. And it seems like people are not really, they talk about it, but they're not too interested in bringing it back.
It's easier when you talk about religion to talk about not this aspect, but memorizing, going to madrasa, knowing your fardu kifaya, fardu ayn, memorizing this. And when it comes to spirituality, they don't talk about this too. It's easier just to talk about zikr, to talk about maqama, to talk about kashf, to talk about ilm, memorizing. They fall back to that. Now it's more important for you to learn all these things than to become a good person. Yes. And?
So what is the solution now? How it's going to be resolved?
Solution?
How will it be resolved for people to go back and really be sincere? And
How did it become like that? With the problem comes a solution. How did it become like that? It's not just out of the blue, nobody understands what happened. It's just people are just worse. And do you know how we got here? If you don't know how we got here, you'll never be able to go back. You walk. You walk a little bit, you walk, and then you got lost. Right? When you get lost, do you think to go back? Let's say you walk from your house, and then you go to Sydney Centre, and then you think you should go here by this highway, you take. When you get lost in these mountains here, do you think to go back to your house in order not to get lost? Do you think to go back to your house, the starting point? No. You must go back to the point where you got lost, where you took a detour, where you deviated. So now it has to be clear, yes, we were like this, At some point, we lost this. When did it happen? How did it happen? Yes?
Well, some people are saying this started when things started to get tight and people were looking more to make worldly, like to make money more. So now they got busy making money and
I want to, okay, for those people who say that, they are very lazy. Because for 1500 years, many times in this 1500 years, Muslims, the world has been tight also. That they also don't have money. Whatever they say, but this time, there's this, there's diseases, there's this. We also had, yani. Oh, but this times there is occupation and this, we also had. In fact, we had worse. Worse. Much worse. This is the point when you don't have neighbors. You cannot have perspective about yourself. This is when you are so wrapped up in yourself and you don't socialize, you don't have perspective. You have two eyes. These two eyes are important also for what? Perspective. If you only have one eye, everything is flat. What happens when everything is flat? You'll make a mistake. You'll hurt yourself and you hurt other people. Imagine driving without perspective. Imagine. Dangerous, yes? So a person doesn't have perspective. Cannot compare. You see? Why people cannot compare that for 1400 years? Why they lack perspective? Because they never looked at 1400 years ago. They have never looked, forget 1400 years, they never looked how it was 50 years, 100 years, 200 years, 300 years, go back counting many years, 1400 years. They don't study the history. When they're interested in history, it's history for their ego that makes them proud. Oh, what makes you proud? I don't know. Maybe for the Iraqis, they will say, I'm proud about my, Mesopotamian past. For the Irani, they say, I'm proud when we were, fire worshippers. You see? Everyone is proud of their, Egyptians, I'm proud of my pharaohs. You see? They are more proud and more interested in the Islam. They don't. Or they say, forget about your past altogether. The Muslims in the subcontinent, don't even look at the Mughals. We're starting everything new. Look at us now. You fail because you don't have perspective. When you don't have perspective, then you don't know how you got here. Then you just know how to either complain or say, we're not that bad. So there have been times when it was really, really bad. Okay? I'm not saying 100% that reasoning is wrong, but I'm saying it also lacks perspective and is very lazy. Because many times we have been in very tight situations. Many times. That is a very dunya way of dealing problems. Basically, dunya is saying what? If you're poor, your life is horrible. Not only dunya, capitalist. If you're poor, your life is horrible. If you're poor, then you don't have manners. If you're poor, you don't have honor. If you're poor, what else? You can't be trusted. If you're poor, you'll be terrorist. If you're poor, it's your fault. You are lazy. Right? Allah Allah. Everything that the Prophet says about the fakir and the poor is complete opposite. Also, this world now is teaching us the opposite of that, which is, if you are rich, you are what? Hardworking. To be rich means you have been hardworking. Therefore, you get rich. If you're not hardworking, if you are poor, that means you're not hardworking. Therefore, it's your fault. Right? That is the work ethic here. Correct? All this that we said, when you are poor, if only you're rich, you'll be able to get rid of it. If you're rich, you're honorable, you're healthier, you have more sound of mind, you are hardworking, you are going to be... So this is people's own very lazy understanding of this. Many, many people right now, in this Akhir Zaman, who are poor, and they're the most honest, hardworking, sincere people. There are many who are rich, and they are the most evil people. We know this, right? One simple answer we can give. How did this become like this? Let's say, well, we were poor before, but we had honor. So what happened? Some people are still poor now, Muslims, believers, but they don't have all those good qualities. It's true. So what happened? Anything that you talk about Akhir Zaman, you cannot run away from Khilafat. You cannot. The Turks, they say what? The fish rots from the head. The fish rots from the head. If the head is not working, the whole body is not working. Now, in addition to that, not only the head is not working, the heart is also not working. The heart, I say in Islam, represents spirituality. The heart is taken out and thrown away. So the head dictates, the father dictates, the president dictates, the king dictates. Yes? Things can be bad, but you can also go in there to make it good, at least to give it a good energy. This is how men should be. Leaders should be. They're not just to come in to blend, they're supposed to lead. You're supposed to be in front. We lost those leaders. So this desperation, this acts of dishonor that usually we associate with the poor people, actually the rich have, and the leaders they have. Because if the leaders are not dishonorable, cowardly, tilki, steal, this, if the leaders are generous, the people will be. And if the leaders are generous, believe me, there's enough wealth to go around for everyone. Because they show the way. They dictate. Kid, they see you getting angry all the time, they also get angry. They see you hit, they will hit. They see you being patient, they'll be patient. And we have the best of leaders, and we have the best of messengers, and we have the best of ways for 1400 years to teach us that has to be dismantled. For the new leaders who don't look to 1400 years of Islam, if they want to look back, they look pre-Islam. They will lift that up. Pre-Islam is called Jahiliyyah, especially at that time. And before that, it's not in the time of the best of the messengers. And we have 1400 years to show how when Islam and spirituality enters, it brought people up to the highest of civilizations. Not just in terms of wealth and everything, manners and taking care of other people. So, usually when you talk about people's desperation, when they are poor and they're desperate and they'll do so many wrong things, usually, I'm not saying every time, but usually, that is associated with cities. Not really in the countryside. If they are poor, if things are given, the energy is different. That kind of dog-eat-dog kind of mentality cannot really happen in more traditional countryside, laid back. When it is intense and everything is put together, because the cities are built for what? Especially when you look at modern cities, built for what? Production and distribution. It's capitalism. It's not planting during seasons, visit your friends during seasons, take it easy, go 5 times to the masjid. It's not built for that. It's not designed for that. It's not. Muslim cities, they did that though for 1400 years. They managed to not also have production, distribution, capitalism in its way, not pure capitalism, passive, because it's a modern concept. But they also managed to have that too, that people will take time, that they're not sucked into the system. And the leaders make sure of that. They set up the system. The leaders have to set up the system. When the system is destroyed, new leaders are installed, and they don't set up the system where they take care of the people, people will not take care of themselves. It's finished. It's just as simple as that. Is there enough wealth to go around in this world? Absolutely. Is there enough food to go around? Absolutely. But some people, they take all the wealth for themselves and they leave nothing for the poor people, and they get desperate. Do they need that wealth? No. It is just greed, and it's insatiable. It cannot be quenched. And they know that. They're saying, it is said, 2 kings cannot rule this world. Okay? This world, this whole world with all the treasures and pleasures of everything, they say it's not enough for 2 kings. Must be only one. But a sajada, it is enough. They say sajada is so small, for 2 dervishes. As the Prophet ﷺ says, what is enough for 2? It's enough for 3. And there was system that yes, you have production and distribution, yes, you have politics, yes, you have all this, but these principles are still strong. They are there, they're embedded. These are the foundations. Ottomans showed us that. It's so sophisticated. It's so sophisticated, people think it's just normal. It's not made to be a big thing, like, oh, there's a pillar here. Like I said, it's all covered with beautiful tiles, and it's just, yes, it's there. You're a butcher, of course you have to take 6 months off. You're cutting meat, and every day you're cutting meat, and you're looking at blood and meat, and this is very violent. Of course it's going to have an effect on your psychology. Of course it's going to have an effect on your spirituality. Of course there's a time for you to cut, and then there are times where you should not. You should go planned. So, lutuf, so subtle, so beautiful, so elegant. And this is not elegant as in art that is useless just for looks. This is something that is human. And something that only the divine can make. So they're mirroring that. So now, so easy for things to become better. But this, when leadership is not taking its responsibility seriously, when leaders they're not there to serve the people, to help the people, They are not following the Prophet as an example. They're not following the Khulafa Rashidin as an example. They are not taking the Sunnah as an example. They're not taking the examples of the Khalifas as example. Who does that anyway? Who does that? Muslim king is saying, this my example is Hazrat Umar. My example is all the Khalifas that ruled. If anything, they say, we don't want that. When their guides and their examples are just modern or pre-modern, not spiritual, not religious, ideologies, largely stemming from the West. And the West have been taking Machiavelli. It's not even biblical. It's complete anti-biblical. As their guide, how kings should rule. And he made them powerful. A couple of things Machiavelli is always saying. King must always fight. Must always take down, must always dominate. And the people must always be kept in desperation. That's how he holds his power. You let people to be nice and satisfied, they're going to rise against you. So we live in those times. May Allah not test us. It's not easy for the people who are desperate. Don't judge them. It is not easy. Understand their frame of mind. But that uneasiness, is this something natural or is it something that is unnatural? Especially in the last 30 years. Is it something that is so difficult to do, or is it something that is designed to make it to become like that? The world is seeing. All the 30 years, not 30 years, going back to the 60s. The geopolitics of the Middle East and the US, the involvement in that was something that was engineered. And it's been going on for 50, 60 years, let's say. What has it brought? What has it brought to the people? Nothing. Destruction. And some people, they're waking up. Why all this confusion? Who is making all this confusion? Why we must listen to all of this? So, importance of leadership in Islam. He dictates it. If your leader wants to always make you to be hungry, your father wants to make you to be hungry, he can. Easy. Father wants to be good and take care of you, he can also. It depends on who your guide is. It depends on who you're following. It depends on which Lord you worship. Shaitan in your ego or Allah. So, wa min Allahu tawfiq al-Fatiha. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is all lesson for us. It's a lesson for us. That's why I have to bring it down to a father, Jamaat kind of situation. We're not discussing all of that just in a vacuum, and it doesn't affect us, it affects us. You can, as a father coming home, and we've seen this, our father's doing this. Everything was okay, but everyone is living in fear because, what kind of mood he is going to be in. He comes in, rah, 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 he does that. What kind of a man only shows his fangs and his to women and to children? What kind of a man is that? You want to be like that? Like what Shaykh Effendi says, you want to wrestle, come to the middle. Don't go in the back. Wrestle with the men. Why you have to do that? Why you have to be a tyrant? So, take this, inshallah. We should try to apply.